Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Aimee here. Today I thought we'd kind of do a updated version of one of my older videos. So a couple years ago I put up, I think it was 3 male romance recommendations of like the types of romance, like enemies to lovers, first times, and I think I did friends to lovers as well. I still get so many views on those videos. I thought I would do an upgraded version of those. But this time around, I'm going to be talking about books that I have not read yet, but I would like to read. And I don't think I've ever mentioned them on my channel before. I am going to talk about 5 books that are like my top favorites in this video. If you don't already know, this one is going to be enemies to lovers, male romances. So I picked like 5 new ones that I want to read and I'll recommend to you. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. Hopefully I'll enjoy them. And then of course some of my, I guess, more recent top 5 favorites. So let's start off with my top 5 favorites, male romances in the enemies to lovers category. We'll start off with Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I haven't talked about this book in a long time. It's been a while since I've read it. This is a enemies to lovers story between our Prince of England, I believe, and then the President of the United States' son. The president happens to be a woman in this story. It's a fantastic story. I love these 2 guys together. Love the banter between them. Like, they know of each other and they always run into each other at these events. So in front of the public, they are trying to stage the appearance that they are acquaintances. I think something happened between them, if I'm remembering correctly, to where they became like sort of enemies, and now they have to form some sort of truce between each other. So as they're performing these staged truces, they seem to get to know each other a little better, maybe fall for each other a little bit more. Very cute story, absolutely loved it. Then I want to talk about The Danger Zone. This is by Brooke Blaine and Ella Frank. This is the first book in the Elite series. If you have not read this series, highly recommend it. The first book, of course, is our entrance into this enemies to lovers love story. We are introduced to Grant, aka Panther, as well as Mateo, aka Solo. They are both fighter pilots. They are both fighter pilots. They are both fighter pilots. They are both fighter pilots that are trained to serve their country, but when they first meet, they do not know that. Of course, one of our guys is out and our other guy is not, so he's trying to keep it on a down low. So they meet in a gay bar, and then the next day they realize they are on the same team academy to where they are to train to become the most, elite fighter pilot. It's a very steamy, hot story between these 2 guys. Absolutely love the entire series. The banter between the 2 guys, the, trying to keep it a secret kind of thing. Super steamy. And then, of course, all of our favorites, Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. We all love the story of Shane and Ilya, so I won't talk too much about it, but they are hockey players who at some point become rivalries when they are very young and in the beginning of their hockey careers. We also get them in the long game, but Heated Rivalry, I think it's just my favorite. We get to meet them, we get to see the rivalry between the 2, and we get to see the heated lust between the 2 in this book. I really enjoyed the long game as well, but I really just like the first encounters between these 2 guys. So yeah, we all know the story, so I won't go on too much about this one, but yeah, one of my top favorites. And then, of course, Top Secret by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. Absolutely one of my top favorites. In fact, I've been actually wanting to reread this, or maybe give it a listen. I physically read it the first time around, so I'd love to listen to this book on audio. I'm sure it's super steamy. So we have Luke and Keaton. Am I remembering that correctly? It's Keaton. So in this story we have Luke, who is Center 3, and then we have Keaton, who is Lobster Shorts. I couldn't remember their screen names, but they basically meet on a hookup app, and it's just so much fun. Keaton comes across as like your boy next door. He has a girlfriend in the beginning of this story, and she mentions for her birthday she wants to bring in a third party, but another male instead of another female. So Keaton, being the great boyfriend that he is, goes in search for that third party, that male third party. And he gets himself on a hookup app, and that's where he meets Luke. Little do they know that they already sort of know each other and already don't like each other. Very cute story. Absolutely loved it. Like I said, I'm definitely going to be reading, listening to this very soon. It's been on my mind for some reason. I don't know why, but I loved the whole texting back and forth between the two guys and the banter between them two, and then of course the sexual awakening that happens for one of our guys. So yeah, highly recommend it if you have not read it yet. And of course, last but not least, Wrath by Ella James. And it was my absolute top book last year overall. So we have Josh and Ezra in this story, and they are stepbrothers. Ezra goes to live with Josh and his mom, because his mom married Ezra's dad. Ezra had a bit of a hard time growing up. His mom is very religious and very stuck in her ways, and she is trying to, I guess, pray the gay away, if you want to call it that. So Ezra goes through a lot of traumatic instances in his childhood growing up, and he is trying he's trying not to be gay, basically. He's trying not to give in to those feelings, but when he meets Josh, those feelings are very strong towards Josh, and he ends up bullying Josh a good bit. But Josh, being the good person that he is, just sees the hurt in Ezra, and he just basically wants to be his friend and help him through whatever it is that he's going through. And somewhere along the way, they become closer and inseparable, and Ezra can no longer fight his feelings for Josh. It's a beautiful story. It's a huge book. It's a beautiful story. This also that I've been wanting to reread. It is now available on audio, so that will be happening very soon. Okay, these next 5 books I have not read yet, but they have actually been on my wishful TBR for a while. We'll start off with Death of Field by Riley Hart. Anyway, beautiful cover, by the way. Absolutely love this cover. That's what kind of drew me in when I first discovered this book. Why I haven't read it yet, I don't know. It's Riley Hart, beautiful cover. What am I waiting on? I don't know, but it needs to be done soon. This is also part of a series, the Last Chance series by Riley Hart. This is book 1. So we have Shane, who has made a decent life for himself. He's built his own home on his mother's property to take care of her. He owns an automotive repair shop, and when he wants to get laid, he goes to Portland, which isn't very far away. It says not too shabby for a boy who spent his childhood getting bullied and feeling alone. Shane's content to leave his past behind him until one of his childhood tormentors comes back to town. Maxwell never planned to step foot in Last Chance again. Here he was Maxwell, a teen who suffered in silence while everyone thought he had the perfect life. Now he's Van, the erotic artist and photographer. He's only here to help his mom tie up some loose ends after his father's death and to apologize to Shane. After that, he's heading back to LA for good. Somehow, despite their rocky history, they get each other. It's not long before the two are so drawn to each other that they tumble into bed. This cover though, whew, I can't get past the cover. I mean, it's everything. Then we have Iris, a Mike Bravo Ops novel. This is also the first book in the Mike Bravo Ops series. This is by Eden Finley. I keep seeing this one around and it's on my like want to read list, but why I haven't picked it up, I can't tell you. So I'll just read a little blurb from one of the characters. This is Saint talking. He says, military life is all I've known since I was born. I was raised to be a soldier, but when a top secret mission fails, I find myself suddenly discharged with nowhere to go. Mike Bravo saved my life and they want me to join them. But there's one small problem. Isaac Iris Griffin. He's as irresistibly snarky as he always was, only there's a big difference this time. I'm no longer closeted or scared to live my truth. And the truth is, I've always wanted him. It's against Mike Bravo's rules to fraternize with other team members, and I always follow orders. But something tells me Iris might be worth the insubordination. Then I ran across this one, just a bit twisted. This is also part of a series, the Straight Guys series. This is book 1. This is by Alexandra Hazard. This looks like it's a professor and student love story. A professor that is very much hated among his students at the college. And then we have Sean, who is a 20-year-old struggling to provide for his younger sisters after the death of their parents. So sort of a forbidden romance as well. Says, everyone says Rutledge doesn't have a heart. Everyone says he's a ruthless bastard. Sean finds out that everyone is right. He strikes a deal with Rutledge, but unexpectedly the deal turns into something much more. It sounded really good, and I love me a good forbidden romance. I also keep seeing this one pop up on my Goodreads as like recommended for me. This is About Last Night by Michaela Cole. I think I'm saying that right. Also part of a series. This is the first book in the Noxton Night series. This is a more of a new adult male romance between, I believe, 2 senior high school students. We have Deccan, who is a new guy in town. He just wants to finish high school as peacefully as possible. No angst, no drama, plays soccer, makes some new friends. As one of the only hipster clothes-wearing, luxury vehicle-driving teenagers in a sea of plaid, camouflage, and loud souped-up trucks, he unfortunately sticks out like a sore thumb at Noxton Falls High School. And then we have Ryan Sutton, who is grouchy, aloof, sexy, but kind of a jerk. And that's the way he'd like to keep it. His priority is a kick-ass soccer season and preparing for a future in the sport. Then the new guy crosses his path at tryouts and repeatedly afterwards. He doesn't like him, wants nothing to do with him, yet can't help watching for Becker around every corner. It just sounded really steamy and fun, and I love a good like high school rivalry. Also, I'll mention Savage Rivals here. I believe it was by Becca Steele. I really like that one. That was also a high school rivalry sort of read. I just recently read it, so I've talked about it already, but yeah, highly recommend it. It's very steamy. And when I saw this one, I just had to put it down, but it does sound really good. But this kind of takes me back to my gay cowboy days. This is Down Low by Parker St. John. This is also part of a series called Down Home. This is the first book. So we have a bull rider. His broken bones could finally mend their broken bond. Bull riding was the only thing that calmed the thrill-seeking, self-destructive beast inside Calvin Craig. One trip on the horns of the wrong bull changed everything. Cal is forced to come crawling back home for the first time in 10 years, his body broken and his riding days behind him. But not everyone is happy for the return of their local celebrity. Eli Jackson was once the tall, dark, and sinful preacher's son who had Cal wrapped around his little finger. Now the steely-eyed sheriff of Sweetwater Eli is hell-bent on running him back out of town. He's never forgiven Cal for the spectacular implosion of their relationship. So it just, it sounded exciting. And it's cowboys. Yes. That's it for now. There were so many books to choose from, but as I was scrolling, I didn't really get to finish scrolling through all the pages, but once I had more listed on here, but I've already talked about some of these books, and these have already been actually recommended from y'all to me. So I've already had some of these written down, so I decided just to go with the ones that I have not ever talked about before, but yet have been coming across recently. But yeah, so many more enemies to lover romances out there, so let me know in the comments what you would recommend to me as far as enemies to lovers go. But I hope y'all found a new book in today's video. As always, thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all are all doing well out there, staying safe. Hugs from me all around, and I'll see y'all very soon in a new video. Bye y'all.